Hello, everyone. Welcome to Miss Emily English.
Your future isn't collapsing because you're lazy. It's collapsing because tiny habits are quietly draining your time like a cracked bucket. Let me prove it in 10 minutes. If your day feels busy, but your life isn't moving, you don't have a motivation problem. You have leaks. Quick mini test. Answer this honestly, no lies. When you have a free 30 seconds, do you reach for your phone without thinking? If yes, you're not alone. But you are responsible. Here's the setup most people miss. Success isn't magic. It's fewer leaks, not more hustle, not more grind, just fewer places where your life bleeds out. Today, we're doing a habit audit. 10 things quietly ruining your future, and exactly what to replace them with. Not theory. Real fixes you can do tonight. And listen, I'm not here to motivate you. Motivation is a mood. I'm here to help you build a system that works even when you feel tired. One more question before we start. If you keep living the way you lived last week, will you like your life in 1 year? That pause you just felt? Good. That's reality tapping your shoulder. All right, leak number one. Leak one. Random phone checks. This one is brutal because it feels harmless. I'm just checking quickly. But quickly is a lie your brain tells you. Think about the pattern. You open your phone to check one thing, then an app pulls you into 10 more. You don't decide. You drift. Here's a real-life moment you've probably lived. You. I'll just check messages. Your brain. Cool. Also check notifications. You. Okay. 2 minutes. 20 minutes later, you look up like you woke from a trance. And you can't even remember what you just consumed. That is not relaxation. That is theft. Your attention got stolen. Mini shock line. If you can't control your phone, you can't control your future. So what's the fix? Not delete all apps. That's not realistic for most people. The fix is scheduled check windows. Here's the method, simple and specific. Pick 3 phone windows per day. Example, 12:30 p.m., 5:30 p.m., 8:30 p.m. Outside those windows, your phone stays face down and out of reach. Yes, out of reach. Not next to you. Because next to you is still a trigger. Another mini test. Where is your phone right now? If it's within arm's reach, you're already negotiating with distraction. To make this work, do one physical action. Put your phone in another room for your first 60 minutes of the day. Just 1 hour. If that sounds hard, that's exactly why you need it. And let's make it practical. Tonight, set your phone like this. Turn on Do Not Disturb. Allow calls from 2 people only for real emergencies. Put the charger outside your bedroom or across the room. This alone can change your week because you're not fighting willpower all day. Your environment does the work. Now, let's move to leak number 2 because it's connected. Leak 2. Starting your day without a plan. This is where most people destroy themselves and call it a normal day. If you start your day with no plan, you don't choose your life. Your life chooses you. Other people's messages become your priorities. Other people's emergencies become your schedule. You wake up, you react, you sprint, you collapse. Then you repeat. And you wonder why nothing changes. Here's a simple story that might sting. A friend of mine once told me, "I'm busy from morning to night." So I asked, "Busy doing what?" He laughed and said, "Honestly, whatever shows up." That sentence, "whatever shows up," should scare you. Mini shock line: if you don't plan your day, you become a tool in someone else's plan. Fix the 3 priorities list, not a 20-item to-do list. That's just stress in bullet points. 3 priorities, only 3. Here's how you do it in under 2 minutes, every morning. Write one thing that moves your main goal forward, one thing that protects your health or energy, one thing that prevents future problems. Example: write 400 words, practice English speaking for 20 minutes, build your project, walk 20 minutes, protein breakfast, stretch, pay a bill, reply to one important email, schedule an appointment. Now, a question that changes everything. If you complete those 3 things, would today be a win? If yes, stop adding nonsense. And here's the rule: do priority 1 before you open social media, not after, not when you feel ready. Before. Real life dialogue. And be honest if you've said this. You. I'll do my important work after I check a few things. Your day. No, you won't. Because a few things becomes 100 tiny fires. So here's a micro commitment you can do tonight to make tomorrow easy. Before you sleep, write tomorrow's 3 priorities on paper. Not in your phone. Paper. Because paper doesn't buzz. Put that paper somewhere you'll see it first thing. On your desk, on the kitchen table, next to your toothbrush. You want it impossible to ignore. And make it even simpler. Next to each priority, write the first tiny step. Instead of practice English, write open notes, read 10 lines, speak them out loud. Instead of work out, write shoes on, walk to the corner. Because the first step is the only step your brain needs to start. Quick check-in. Which leak hits you harder? Random phone checks or no plan in the morning? Most people say phone, but the truth is, no plan makes the phone stronger. And we're just getting started, because the next leak is the one that keeps you consuming other people's lives instead of building your own. Most people think the problem is discipline. But discipline is hard when your life is designed for distraction. That's why we start by plugging the obvious leaks, phone and mornings, because once those two stop bleeding, you finally have enough attention to do the next thing most people never do. Create before you consume. Leak 3. Consuming without creating. This leak is sneaky because it feels productive. You watch videos about learning English. You read threads about productivity. You save life-changing posts. You feel busy. You feel like you're improving. But your life doesn't change because information is not transformation. Mini shock line. If you consume all day and create nothing, you are training yourself to be a spectator of your own life. Here's the real-world scene. You. I'm learning. Your friend. What did you produce from what you learned? Do you produce? That moment of silence is the entire problem. Fix. 30 minutes create first. Not create for 3 hours. not start a business. Calm down. Just 30 minutes of creation before you consume any entertainment. Creation can be simple. Write 10 sentences in English about your day. Record a 60-second voice note speaking English, then re-record once to improve. Draft a plan for your next week. Practice one skill you've been watching tutorials about. If you're learning English, here's a powerful Create First routine you can do tonight. Pick a short paragraph from a book, article, or even a transcript. Read it out loud once. Record yourself reading it again. Listen and fix 3 mistakes. That's it. 15 minutes. But it compounds like crazy. Quick question. How many hours have you spent consuming how to improve content without doing a single exercise? Be honest, because honesty is the starting line. And here's the point. Once you create first, consumption becomes a reward, not a trap. You stop using content to avoid your life. Leak 4. Too many goals. This one is a future killer because it feels ambitious. You write down 10 goals. You feel inspired. You tell people you're working on yourself. But your daily actions become scattered, and scattered effort creates scattered results. Mini test. Can you name your one main goal right now in one sentence? If you can't, you're not multi-passionate. You're unfocused. Real dialogue that destroys progress. You. This month I'm improving my English, losing weight, starting a side hustle, reading 12 books, and waking up at 5 a.m. Your brain. Cool. I'll do none of that. Because your brain is not a superhero. It's a battery. Fix. One main goal per quarter. 1. Not 3. Not a few. 1. A quarter is roughly 12 weeks. That's enough time to see real movement if you stop playing goal pinball. Here's how to choose the goal. Ask, if this improves, what else becomes easier? That's usually your best goal. For many people, that's energy, health, because everything depends on energy. One income skill, because money reduces stress. Language, communication, because it upgrades opportunities. If your audience is learning English, this is a clean quarterly goal. In 12 weeks, I will speak English confidently for 5 minutes on one topic without freezing. That's measurable. It's real. It's not fantasy. Now the daily system becomes simple. 30 minutes, create first. Speaking, writing. 1 weekly feedback loop. A tutor, a friend, or self-review. Track streaks. We'll hit tracking soon. Mini shock line. Your problem isn't lack of potential. It's lack of concentration. Leak 5. Bad food routine. People want to act like food is only about weight. No. Food is attention. Food is mood. Food is energy. Food is your ability to stay consistent. If your breakfast is sugar and caffeine, your morning becomes a roller coaster. You feel on for 45 minutes. Then you crash and start chasing stimulation. Hello phone, hello snacks, hello procrastination. Here's a movie-like line you've heard in real life. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just can't focus. Sometimes nothing is wrong with you. You're just underfed on protein and overdosed on sugar. Fix. Protein-first breakfast. Not perfect diet. Not tracking every calorie. Just protein first. Tonight, decide what protein you'll eat tomorrow morning. Make it automatic. Examples: eggs, Greek yogurt, chicken, or tuna, tofu beans, plus something simple. Protein shake if you're busy, then add whatever you want after. But protein first. Mini test. What did you eat this morning? If it was mostly carbs/sugar, that explains a lot of your motivation issues. And a practical rule: if you drink coffee, drink water first and eat something first. Caffeine on an empty stomach is like punching your nervous system and calling it productivity. Leak 6. No movement. Your body is not separate from your mind. When you sit still all day, your brain gets stuck too. You feel heavy. You feel foggy. You feel lazy. And then you start hating yourself for a biological reaction you caused. Mini shock line. A motionless body creates a motionless life. Fix. 20-minute walk daily. Not run 5 miles. Not join a gym. Just a walk. Every day. Here's why it works. It lowers stress. It clears mental noise. It resets your mood. It improves sleep. It gives you time to think without stimulation. If you're learning English, stack the habit. During your walk, listen to a short English clip and repeat one sentence out loud, or talk to yourself in English about what you see. The sky is cloudy. I'm walking past a store. I feel tired, but I'm moving. Yes, you will feel silly. And that's good, because growth always feels a little embarrassing at first. Quick story. I once met someone who said, "I can't change my life." I asked, "Do you walk every day?" He said, "No." I said, "Then you're not even doing the smallest thing your body was designed to do." Start there. Not because walking is magic, because walking proves you keep promises to yourself. And now we're about to hit the next leak. The one that decides whether your good intentions survive the real world, your environment. Good. Because even if you fixed your phone, your mornings, your goals, your food, and your movement, your environment can still quietly drag you back into old behavior. Most people lose here, not because they're weak, because they keep living inside triggers and expecting willpower to win. Leak 7. A weak environment. Your environment is the invisible hand steering your habits. If the bad habit is easy and the good habit is hard, guess what happens? Every time. Mini shock line. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your environment. Look at the real pattern. Phone on your desk. You check it. Snacks on the counter. You eat them. Netflix button one click away. You just watch one episode. You're not making a decision. You're responding to cues. Fix. Remove triggers. Not be stronger. Remove triggers. Here are 3 practical moves that work because they are physical, not emotional. Make distraction harder. Delete social apps from your home screen. Keep them, but bury them. Log out every night so you have to log in again. Turn off all notifications except calls and messages from important people. If you're serious, use grayscale mode. Make the phone boring. Make the good habit easier. Put your notebook and pen on your desk before bed. Put your walking shoes by the door. Put a glass of water on the counter. If you're practicing English, Keep one printed page or one short script ready to read out loud. Control the friction. The habit you repeat is the habit with the least friction. Mini test right now. What is the easiest habit in your room? If the easiest habit is distraction, you already know why your life feels stuck. Here's a real-life dialogue you might recognize. You. I'll practice English tonight. Your brain. Cool, after one quick video. You. Just one. Then you wake up at 1 a.m. like, what happened? That's not because you're dumb. It's because the path to distraction is smooth, and the path to growth is uphill. So tonight, do the 1-minute environment reset. Put your phone charger outside your bedroom or across the room. Put your notebook where your phone used to sit. Remove one trigger snack from your immediate reach. 1 minute. You don't need a full lifestyle change. You need one less trap. Now, once your environment is cleaner, you need one thing to stay honest. Because your brain will lie to you again tomorrow. Leak 8. No tracking. If you don't track your habits, your feelings will become your boss. You'll say things like, I've been working so hard. I'm not making progress. I don't know what's wrong. But you don't actually know what you did. Mini shock line. What gets measured gets improved. What gets ignored gets repeated. Fix. A simple daily scoreboard. Not a complicated spreadsheet. A scoreboard so simple, you can do it in 30 seconds. Make a list of 5 daily wins. Example. Phone windows only, yes, no. 3 priorities completed. 03. Create first 30 minutes, yes, no. Protein. First breakfast, yes, no. 20-minute walk, yes, no. That's it. 5 boxes. Check them at night. If you're learning English, include speak 5 minutes, yes, no. Or write 10 sentences, yes or no. Tracking works for one reason. It removes drama. It turns self-improvement into math. Mini test. In the last 7 days, how many days did you actually do your key habit? If you can't answer with a number, that's the leak. Here's the part that makes this stick. Don't track forever. Track for 14 days like it's an experiment. 2 weeks. You're not changing your identity. You're testing a system. And here's a little psychological trick. Never aim for perfect. Aim for don't break twice. Meaning, if you miss one day, fine. You're human. But you do not miss 2 days in a row. That's how habits die. Now, we've covered time leaks, focus leaks, energy leaks, environment leaks, and honesty leaks. But there's one leak people hate to talk about, because it doesn't look like a habit. It looks like personality. It's the leak that ruins relationships, careers, confidence, and self-respect. And it happens quietly, because you avoid discomfort. Leak 9. Avoiding hard conversations. You know exactly what I mean. The text you don't reply to. The boundary you don't set. The problem you keep hoping goes away. And the apology you should have made months ago. Avoiding hard conversations doesn't keep peace. It creates pressure. And pressure always leaks out through anxiety, procrastination, anger, or self-sabotage. Mini shock line. The conversation you avoid today becomes the crisis you face later. Real-world example. Short and painful. Boss, why didn't you tell me earlier? You, I didn't want to cause trouble. A boss, now it's worse. Or in relationships, partner, are we okay? You, yeah, fine. Partner, you're not fine. You, I just don't want to fight. And then the relationship slowly dies in silence. Avoidance feels safe, but it's expensive. Fix, weekly, truth talk. Once a week, you schedule one conversation you've been avoiding. 1. Not 5. 1. Rules. Keep it short, 15 to 20 minutes. Use calm words. Speak facts, not accusations. Here's a script you can copy. Can we talk for 15 minutes? I've been avoiding this and it's not helping. I want to be honest, and I want to fix it. Then, when X happens, I feel Y. What I need is Z. Can we agree on that? Example. When plans change last minute, I feel stressed. What I need is a heads up earlier. Can we agree to communicate changes sooner? If you want power, stop attacking and start being clear. Mini test. Who is the one person you need to be honest with? You already know the name. That's why your stomach tightened. And here's the reward. When you stop carrying unspoken tension, you get energy back. Your mind becomes quieter. You sleep better. You focus more. This isn't just relationship advice. This is leak control. Now we're at the final leak. The one that decides whether all these fixes actually stick long term. Recovery. Because if you never recover, your system collapses and you crawl back to the easiest habits again. Because here's what happens when you don't recover. You can do everything right for 3 days, and then you crash, binge scroll, eat garbage, skip your walk, and tell yourself, see, I can't stay consistent. No, you didn't fail. You just never built a shutdown. Leak 10. No recovery. This leak is the silent assassin. People think recovery is luxury. It's not. Recovery is maintenance. Without it, your brain becomes desperate for cheap dopamine, and your habits turn feral. Mini shock line. If you don't schedule rest, your body will schedule it for you by breaking you. Look at the cycle. You run on stress. You stay wired at night. You sleep late. You wake up tired. You need stimulation. You reach for your phone. And suddenly, leak 1 is back in charge. So the fix is not sleep earlier as a vague wish. The fix is a shutdown routine. Fix. Shutdown plus sleep. Here's the method you can do tonight, not tomorrow. Tonight. Step 1. Pick a shutdown time. Choose a time you can actually keep. Example. 10:30 p.m. Not 9 p.m. if you know you won't do it. Stop lying to yourself. Pick a real time. Step 2. The 3-step shutdown ritual. 10 minutes total. At your shutdown time, do this in order. Close loops. 2 minutes. Write down anything still in your head. Tasks, worries, reminders. Your brain keeps you awake because it's afraid you'll forget. Prove you won't forget. Prepare tomorrow. 5 minutes. Write tomorrow's 3 priorities list, the system from earlier. Lay out one thing you need. Notebook on desk, shoes by door, protein plan. This is you paying tomorrow's discipline bill. in advance. Power down, 3 minutes. Phone away, lights lower. No, just one more video. If you struggle, use a rule. Screens off 30 minutes before sleep. Not forever. Start with 30 minutes. Mini test. What time did you go to bed last night? And what time did you actually fall asleep? Those are not the same for most people, because the phone keeps your brain in a half-awake trance. Now I'm going to say something that sounds simple, but changes everything. You don't need perfect sleep. You need predictable sleep. Same bedtime most nights. Same wake time most mornings. Your body loves rhythm. And if you're learning English and want a stacked shutdown, do this. Right before sleep, read 10 lines of English out loud slowly. No pressure, no studying, just calm exposure. It trains your mouth and your ear without stress. That's leak 10, and it completes the loop. You stop leaking time, attention, energy, environment, honesty, and recovery. But I'm not letting you walk away with nice ideas. Ideas don't change lives. Actions do. So here's your do it tonight plan. Very specific. No fluff. Tonight, the 30-minute repair protocol. Set a timer. 30 minutes. Do these in order. Environment reset. 5 minutes. Put your phone charger away from your bed. Put your notebook where your phone normally sits. Remove one obvious trigger. Snack, app, remote in reach. Something. Write your 3 priorities for tomorrow. 3 minutes. 1 main goal action. 1 energy action. 1 prevention action. Then write the first tiny step for each. Create first micro session. 10 minutes. If English, record a 60-second voice note speaking about your day. Then re-record once, slightly better. That's creation. That's progress. If not English, write 1 paragraph, plan 1 task, build 1 thing. Anything that produces output. Set up phone check windows. 2 minutes. Choose 3 times. Put them in your calendar or write them on paper. Scoreboard setup. 5 minutes. Draw 5 boxes. Label them. Put it somewhere you'll see. This is your honesty mirror. Shutdown ritual. 5 minutes. Write down what's in your head. Prepare 1 thing for tomorrow. Lights down. That's it. 30 minutes. This is what real adults do. Not wait for motivation. They set conditions that make motivation irrelevant. Now, a quick story that makes this real. There's a moment in every person's life where they realize nobody is coming to save them. No teacher. No perfect timing. No magic morning where you wake up and suddenly love hard work. It's just you and your habits and the direction they're pulling you. And the scary part is that habits don't ask for your permission. They repeat, quietly, daily, like gravity. But the good news is also simple. Tiny fixes, repeated, become a different life. Mini shock line. Your future isn't built by big decisions. It's built by what you do when nobody is watching. So here's the question that decides everything. Which leak are you fixing first? Tonight? Not this week. Not someday. Tonight. Because if you can fix 1 leak, you can fix 2. If you can fix 2, you can fix 10. And when the leaks stop, progress becomes inevitable. Fix the leak, fix the life. And if you want this to actually stick, do one thing right now. Write down your shutdown time for tonight and your 3 priorities for tomorrow. Then commit to the 30-minute repair protocol like your future depends on it. Because it does. Next, we're going to turn this into a simple weekly system so you don't fall back when life gets chaotic. And I'll show you how to handle the bad days without collapsing. Chaos-proofing matters because life doesn't care about your new habits. You'll have late nights, bad moods, family problems, exams, travel, sickness, deadlines. And if your system only works on good days, it's not a system. It's a fantasy. So now we lock this in with a weekly structure and a way to survive bad days without reopening all the leaks. Here's the first truth. Consistency is not perfection. Consistency is recovery speed. Mini shock line. Winners aren't better people. They just return faster after they slip. When you mess up, your brain tries to turn one mistake into an identity. I missed a day, so I'm not disciplined. That's weak thinking. One day is an event. 2 weeks is a pattern. So we build a simple weekly loop. Review, adjust, repeat. The weekly habit audit. 10 minutes once a week. Pick one day. Sunday works for many people, but any day is fine. Same day every week. Put it in your calendar. You do 3 things. Look at your scoreboard. Count how many days you hit your key habits. Don't judge, just count. If you're learning English, count. How many days did you speak or write? Identify your biggest leak last week. Not 10 problems. One biggest leak. Was it phone scrolling? Sleep? No plan? No movement? Bad food? Choose one tweak for next week. One tweak only. Example. Move phone charger out of bedroom. Add protein to breakfast. Set a 10-minute earlier shutdown time. Make create first only 15 minutes if 30 is too hard. This is how real progress works. Small adjustment, repeat. Now, I need you to hear this clearly. The goal is not to add more habits. The goal is to remove friction and stop leaks. Mini test. Do you tend to restart your life every Monday? That's not improvement. That's self-sabotage wearing motivational clothing. Instead, we use something powerful. Minimum standards. The bad day protocol, so you don't collapse. On bad days, you don't do the full routine. You do the minimum that keeps your identity alive. Here's your minimum set. 5 minutes. Create first. 10 minutes walk. Or even 5. Phone check Windows. Still apply. Shutdown still happens. That's it. Because the real danger of bad days is not low productivity. The real danger is the story you tell yourself. I ruined it, so I might as well quit. No. On bad days, you protect the chain. Mini shock line. Never let a bad day turn into a bad life. If you're learning English, here's a perfect 5-minute create first. Open voice recorder. Speak for 60 seconds about anything. What happened today? What am I feeling? What's one thing I want tomorrow? Then stop. You did it. You stayed in the game. Now let's talk about something most people ignore. Your default mode. When you're tired, your brain goes to default. Default is what you practiced most. So we engineer the default. The default mode setup. Ask yourself, when I'm tired, what do I automatically do? Most people. Scroll. Snack. Avoid complain. Sleep late. We replace it with a healthier default that still feels easy. Pick one default replacement. When tired, I walk 10 minutes. Or when tired, I shower and reset. Or when tired, I do 5 minutes of English speaking. Or when tired, I clean one small area and breathe. Why? Because you need a go-to action that doesn't require thinking. Thinking is expensive when you're tired. Here's a short real-life line you've probably heard in movies. I can't do this anymore. Most of the time, that line doesn't mean you can't do the goal. It means you can't do the goal with your current energy. So you don't quit. You downshift. Now let's deal with something else. People around you. Because even if you're serious, someone will tempt you back into leaks. Friends who want to waste time. Family who interrupts your plan. Coworkers who pull you into drama. You don't need to fight them. You need boundaries. Micro boundaries that don't create conflict. Use short, calm phrases. Here are 3 you can copy. I can't right now. I'll respond at 6. I'm focusing on something important. Can we talk later? I'm not available tonight. I'm resetting. That's it. No long explanations. Explanations invite negotiation. Mini shock line. If you can't say no, you will never own your time. And yes, you'll feel guilty at first. That's normal. Guilt is just your old self begging for comfort. Now, since the audience is people learning English, let's turn these habits into a language advantage. Because habits are easier when they serve 2 goals at once. Stack habits with English practice. During your 20-minute walk, listen to one short English audio clip. Repeat one sentence 5 times. During Create First, write 10 sentences about your day. During shutdown, read 10 lines out loud slowly. This is not studying harder. It's attaching English to habits you already need for life. Mini test. Are you trying to learn English only inside study time and then living the rest of your day in your native language? That's why progress feels slow. Language is a lifestyle skill. You need daily exposure. Now let's add a simple trick that boosts retention and makes the viewer feel involved. A 7-day challenge you can do starting tonight. For the next 7 days, do only these 3. Phone windows, 3 checks/day. Create first, 15 to 30 minutes. 20-minute walk, or 10 on bad days. Track it on paper. 7 days. At the end, you'll notice something scary and beautiful. Your mind will feel quieter. Your focus will feel stronger. And you'll realize how much of your old life was just leaks. Mini shock line. The version of you that can't focus might disappear in 1 week if you stop feeding the distractions. One more real dialogue, because this is how your brain fights back. You. I'll start tomorrow. Your brain. Good idea. Tomorrow is safe. But tomorrow is not safe. Tomorrow is a lie. Tomorrow is where dreams go to die. So we don't start tomorrow. We start tonight with the 30-minute repair protocol, and then we run the 7-day challenge. And when you slip, and you will because you're human, you don't restart from zero. You restart from experience. Next, I'm going to show you how to make this automatic with a simple identity shift and a few if-then rules that keep you from negotiating with yourself every day. Because the real enemy isn't lack of discipline. The real enemy is daily negotiation. The moment you start debating with yourself, should I do it today? You're already losing. You need rules that remove choice. Mini shock line. If your habits depend on decisions, your habits will die on stressful days. So we turn your system into something automatic. Identity plus if-then rules. Identity shift. The part nobody wants, but everybody needs. Most people try to change behavior while keeping the same identity. They say, I'm a procrastinator, but I'm trying to be productive. I'm bad at English, but I'm trying to learn. That's like saying, I'm a smoker, but I'm trying to breathe clean air. Your identity becomes a script you keep reading. So we switch the script. Instead of, I'm trying to learn English, say, I'm the kind of person who practices English daily. Instead of, I'm trying to be disciplined, say, I don't negotiate with my priorities. Not because words are magic, because your brain follows the story you repeat. Mini test. What is the sentence you repeat about yourself when you fail? That sentence is programming you. Now, identity alone isn't enough. We need structure that works when you're tired. If. Then rules. So you stop negotiating. You create simple rules that trigger actions automatically. Here are the ones that plug the biggest leaks. If I wake up, then I do not touch my phone for 60 minutes. No debate, it's a rule. If I sit at my desk, then I start with 10 minutes of create first. Even if you only do 10, it keeps the chain alive. If I feel the urge to scroll, then I stand up and drink water first. This breaks the trance. If it's past my shutdown time, then I write tomorrow's 3 priorities and power down. Not maybe. Then, if I miss a habit one day, then I do the minimum version the next day. Remember, don't break twice. These are not motivational quotes. These are switches. You flip them, life changes. Mini shock line. The goal is not to be strong. The goal is to be automatic. Now let's make this even more practical with a tool that eliminates confusion. The 2 lists. The 2 lists method. Simple, savage, effective. List. A. Things that move my life forward. List. B. Things that feel good now but cost me later. Most people pretend list B doesn't exist. That's why it controls them. Write list. Honestly, random phone checks, late night videos, junk snacks, avoiding hard conversations, starting the day with no plan now. Here's the rule. Every day you must do at least one item from list A before you touch list B. That's the trade. Because you're not a robot, you will still want comfort. Fine, but you earn comfort after progress. Mini test. Do you reward yourself before you work? That's backwards. That's how you train yourself to be weak. Now let's address the biggest trap that kills consistency. The all or nothing mindset. All or nothing is the mindset of a fragile person. You miss one day, and your brain says, see, You ruined everything. No, that's childish thinking. Here's the adult rule. Partial credit is still credit. If you can't do 30 minutes, do 5. If you can't walk 20, walk 10. If you can't eat perfect, eat protein first. If you can't have a full shutdown, at least put the phone away 15 minutes earlier. Mini shock line. Small done beats big planned. Now, because your viewers are people learning English globally, let's build an English-proof daily template that fits into real life, not fantasy life. The daily template for English learners plus real humans. Morning. First 60 minutes. No phone. 3 priorities list. 2 minutes. Create first English. 10 to 30 minutes. Option A. 10 sentences writing. Option B. 2-minute speaking, plus re-record. Option C. Read 10 lines out loud, plus its shadow 1 sentence. Midday. Phone check window. 20-minute walk, or 10. Optional. Listen and repeat 1 English sentence. Evening. Second phone check window. Quick scoreboard check. 30 seconds. Shutdown routine. Close loops. Prep tomorrow. Screens down. That's a life. Not perfect, but stable. And stability creates progress. Now, let's hit retention with something that feels personal. Imagine 2 versions of you. Version 1. Wakes up, scrolls, reacts, eats random food, sits all day, avoids hard talks, sleeps late, repeats. Feels busy. Life doesn't move. Version 2. Wakes up, no phone, chooses 3 priorities, creates first, walks, eats protein first, tracks, shuts down, repeats. Feels calmer. Life starts moving. Both versions are you. The difference is Leak's mini test. Which version are you feeding today? Now, I promised real dialogue examples, so here's one that shows the identity shift in action. Something you can literally say to yourself. Old you. I don't feel like practicing English. New you. I practice daily. Feelings are irrelevant. Old you. But I'm tired. New you. Then I do the minimum. 5 minutes. No excuses. That's how you stop being emotional and start being effective. And here's one you can use with other people when they pull you into distraction. Friend. Come on, just relax. Scroll with me. You. Not right now. I'm doing my create first. After that, I'm free. Simple. Calm. No fight. Now we lock in the last piece. How to handle relapse without shame. Relapse is normal. What matters is your response. When you relapse, don't dramatize it. Identify which leak reopened. Fix one trigger immediately. Return the next day with minimum standards. Example: you stayed up late scrolling. Fix tonight. Phone charger out of bedroom plus shutdown time written on paper. Then tomorrow. Minimum create first, plus walk. Chain protected. Mini shock line. Shame doesn't fix habits. Systems do. At this point, you have everything. Plug leaks. Build environment. Track honestly. Recover properly. Weekly review, bad day protocol, identity, if-then rules. So now the only remaining step is commitment. One clear action and one clear promise. So you finish strong and the viewer actually moves. Next, I'm going to close this out with a final tightening. A simple 7-day scorecard challenge your audience can follow. A one-sentence life rule they'll remember, and a direct CTA that pushes them to act immediately. Fix the leak. Fix the life. That line sounds simple, almost too simple. But if you've been listening, really listening, you know it's not a slogan. It's a diagnosis. Because most people don't lose their future in one dramatic moment. They lose it in tiny, quiet ways. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, one avoided conversation, one late night, one more day without a plan. And then one day they look up and think, how did I end up here? Here's the uncomfortable truth. You are not stuck. You are leaking. And the reason this matters is because leaks don't feel dangerous. They feel normal. That's why they win. So before you close this video, I want you to do something most people are too soft to do. A final audit. Right now, in your head. Answer these questions fast. No excuses. What is the number one place you leak time? Your phone, your mornings, your late nights? What is the number one place you leak energy? Food, no movement, bad sleep? What is the number one place you leak courage? The conversation you keep avoiding? Because if you can name the leak, you can control it. If you can't name it, it controls you. And listen, this isn't about becoming some perfect discipline machine. That's fantasy. Real people have stress, emotions, family, jobs, problems. The goal is not perfection. The goal is direction. Mini shock line. You don't need a new life. You need a tighter one. Now I'm going to give you a clean, concrete challenge that makes this real. Not someday. Not when you feel motivated. Starting tonight, the 7-day Leak Lock Challenge. For the next 7 days, you do exactly 4 things. That's it. No extra drama. No phone for the first 60 minutes after you wake up. Not less phone. None. Phone stays away. Face down. Another room if needed. Create first every day. Minimum 5 minutes. Ideal 15 to 30 minutes. If you're learning English, record yourself speaking for 60 seconds, then re-record once. Or write 10 sentences. That's creation. That's growth. Move every day. Minimum 10 minutes. Ideal 20 minutes walk. No gym required. No fancy plan. Just movement. Shutdown routine. Pick a shutdown time. Write tomorrow's 3 priorities. Screens down. 4 actions. 7 days. Track with a pen on paper. 7 check marks per habit. That's it. And here's the rule that makes this challenge actually work. Do not aim for perfect. Aim for don't break twice. If you miss one day, fine. You are human. But you do not miss the next day. That's the line. That's the standard. Because people don't fail from one mistake. They fail from the story they tell after the mistake. You miss one day and your brain says, you're inconsistent. No, you missed a day. That's all. Then you return. That's what winners do. Mini shock line. The difference between winners and losers is not talent. It's the ability to restart without drama. Now, let's make this emotional for a second, because you need to feel the cost. Imagine it's 1 year from today. You either fixed your leaks or you didn't. If you didn't, your life looks the same. Same stress, same distractions, same, I'll start tomorrow, same regret. And you know what hurts the most? It's not the failure. It's the time you can't get back. You don't get refunds on years. But if you did fix your leaks, just a few, your life is different. You wake up calmer because your phone doesn't own your mornings. You feel stronger because your body moves daily. You focus more because your brain isn't drowning in noise. Your English improves because you stopped studying someday and started practicing daily. You trust yourself more because you keep promises to yourself. That last one is everything. Self-trust is the foundation of confidence, and confidence changes your decisions, and decisions change your life. Now let me hit you with a final mini-test. Right now, do you trust yourself? When you say, "I'll do it," do you actually do it? If the answer is no, don't hate yourself. Just stop lying and start building proof. Because self-trust is not a feeling. It's evidence. Every time you do the Create First session, you build evidence. Every time you walk, you build evidence. Every time you shut down on time, you build evidence. Every time you keep the phone away in the morning, you build evidence. 7 days of evidence can change how you see yourself. And once you see yourself differently, you behave differently. Here's a final real-life conversation you're going to have with yourself soon. Maybe tonight. Old voice. It's late. Let's just scroll. Tomorrow we'll start. New voice. No, that's the leak talking. Shut down. Priorities. Sleep. Old voice. But I deserve a break. A new voice. A break that ruins my life isn't a break. It's a trap. That is what power sounds like. Calm, clear, non-negotiable. You don't need to be loud. You need to be consistent. So here's my one-sentence rule for you to remember when the temptation hits. If it costs your future, it's too expensive. Read that again. If it costs your future, it's too expensive. Now, I'm going to end this the right way, with one strong closing line and one clear action. Fix the leak. Fix the life. CTA. Tonight, start the 7-day leak lock challenge. Write your shutdown time on paper. Write your 3 priorities for tomorrow, and do your first 60-second Create First session before you sleep. Then come back and comment one thing. Which leak you're fixing first? Phone, planning, creating, environment, tracking, truth talk, or sleep.